Hey, stamp collectors. There's a couple of questions that I have heard all my life. I've been a Batman fan since, geez, I don't know, since I was a child. And there are two extremely popular questions I constantly hear from other fans. Number one is, yes, of course, why are Batman's nipples so sensitive? And the answer to that is, honestly, I don't know. Look, it just is, so no judging. Now, the second question, I suppose, is probably almost as important. It's why doesn't Batman just kill the Joker? See, the cycle is that Joker kills some people, Batman catches them, he sends them to Arkham Asylum, Joker escapes Arkham Asylum, and kills more people, Batman catches him once more, and the whole thing starts over. This suggests that Batman is just as responsible for Joker's murders as he is. This question is asked in the Joker hardcover, Joker, Devil's Advocate. And this is created by Chuck Dixon and drawn by Graham Nolan. They were creators of Detective Comics at the time. The 90s was a huge deal for Batman. It kind of started really in the late 80s with Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. That jumped into the Batman '89 film, and of course bringing us to Batman animated series. All of this created a lot of fan attention and creative excitement in Batman's direction. Good for him. And thankfully, the creators on his monthly titles were up to the job, including Detective Comics, Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan. Chuck Dixon was a really exciting writer who knew how to combine superhero pacing with crime drama, so it never lost its sense of fun, but still felt like it existed in our reality. Graham Nolan, on the other hand, is like a classic type of comic book artist, almost to the point where you think his stuff would be kind of stale looking compared to some others, but it has a crisp, clean design that makes for great storytelling. And during this period, in 1996, they came out with their own hardcover. It's called Devil's Advocate. And the story starts out simple enough. The U.S. Post Office created a series of stamps dedicated to famous comedians. The Joker is obviously very jealous that he wasn't included in this. People start dying through tainted stamps that were apparently laced with his Joker toxin, killing people instantly, creating those horrible smiles on their faces. And to top it all off, he attacks a local post office with machine guns and his henchmen, but they're taken out by Batman and Robin. Tim Drake Robin, by the way. And you think, okay, well, story's over. That was kind of decent. And that's actually where our story begins, because a young assistant DA, Assistant Attorney Bordeaux, comes up with this brilliant idea. Essentially, like, why don't we forego the whole accepting the insanity defense and go for a capital crime? Because when you plead insanity and you're found not guilty by reason of insanity, it's because you don't know what you're doing. You're crazy. You are literally an insane person, so you don't know from right from wrong. Her argument is that Joker was angry that he wasn't included in this and jealous, so he knew what he was doing. So let's do it. This, of course, makes Harvey Bullock and Renee Montoya pretty happy. It's like, oh, finally, okay, great, we can get rid of this guy. Everybody's kind of relieved because, look, there's no way he's not going to be found. There's no way he's going to get out of this. Everybody's like paying attention, and that's when this trial goes full OJ trial, because don't forget, OJ trial was just a few years before this, so commentary on that is all over this book. The judge doesn't seem to care too much about the case. He just kind of mostly cares about how he looks on camera. Of course, the trial is televised, and all while this is going on, Batman is watching this from his cave, dressed in his whole costume and everything. He's watching the trial, or may I specifically say, he is watching the Joker, and he is noticing something interesting. You see, when Joker commits crimes, either theft or murder, he thinks it's hilarious. He's laughing about it, bragging about it. He can't wait to tell people about how awesome he is for doing whatever he's doing. During the trial, he's bored. and disinterested and almost confused. This leads him to the conclusion that Joker is innocent and somebody else committed these crimes. When the Joker is found guilty, he decides that he must exonerate the Joker, which of course pleases his cohorts to no end. Jim Gordon is confused as why he would bother, as well as Tim Drake. Tim Drake sticks with him. He goes, I'm sure you have a good reason. I don't think we need to do this, but okay. And stupidly enough, he asks for Barbara Gordon's help on this. Barbara Gordon, at this point, was in a wheelchair, and she was Oracle, the information broker for not only the Batman family, but at this point, the entire DC universe. Apparently, Superman doesn't have a computer. And he asks for her help to dredge up information to assist with allowing the Joker to continue to live. Now, let's keep in mind, as the Killing Joke is still in continuity, Joker had shot and crippled her, and not to mention sexually assaulted her. So, yeah, she's kind of not on board with that. Matter of fact, she even, shuts his computers down when they're having their little Skype conversation. Yeah, hey, Batman, I know you're the world's greatest detective, but how come sometimes you're so fucking thick? Oh, hey, Barbara. I know Joker, crippled and sexually assaulted you, but you want to help us with this case? Oh, yeah, sure, I'm right on that, Batman. Yeah. During the course of this story, we're served a bunch of different suspects, two of which are people who used to work for the Joker as henchmen that seem to be continuing the whole blackmailing scheme involving the stamps. Now, I'm not going to really let you know on who the killer is. I think we know that Joker isn't the killer and he doesn't die because this is 20 years ago and Joker is the most popular thing ever. I will let you know that it's an interesting mystery, so I'm going to just leave it at that. After everything is over and Joker's exonerated, there's this moment where Tim Drake Robin talks to Batman on a rooftop and tells him, you know what, this could have all been over with. And Batman, I guess it's a way of consoling him, tells him that everyone pays for their crimes, one way or another. Yeah, Batman, I'm sure that's going to be super comforting to Joker's future and present-day victims. But, hey, Batman does break into Arkham Asylum a second time to let Joker know that, hey, every day for the rest of his life, he'll have because of Batman. So, rub it in your face, man. Yeah, that's why Joker is a good guy today. Yeah, just kidding. That's like proving to a Trump supporter they're wrong. They're not gonna, change their mind about anything. They're gonna keep going. So, is this a good book? Should you pick it up? Yeah. It's pretty enjoyable. It's not without its flaws in its execution.
Stop using that pun!
Let's look at some real-world examples, shall we? Charles Manson was an insane murderer with a gang of followers, much like the Joker. He is caught and thrown in prison for the rest of his life. John Hinckley attempted to assassinate President Ronald Reagan in order to impress an underage actress. In retrospect, an obvious mistake. He was found not guilty by reason of insanity, and he was released in 2016 after 35 years due to successful treatment, both of which are good examples of the government doing the right thing for each individual case. Now, if Gotham City did its job, the Joker would be appearing every 5 years on Dateline NBC to creep their reporters out, instead of constantly murdering people. Batman shouldn't and can't kill. By the way, I'm talking about comic book Batman, not live-action film Batman, who seems to think guns are bad unless you strap them to the vehicle you're using. Then, hey, go at it. I'm talking about our own classic real Batman from the comic books. He doesn't kill. And, of course, there is a moral reason he's doing this. It's because it's been often stated that he feels sympathy with the actual villains he fights every day, because many of them, especially the crazy psychopath ones, he seems to have some sort of kinship with. Because a lot of their cases, they had one really bad day that sent them off, just like he did. And if he can help them find their way back, then maybe he's helping himself cope with his own problems. Also, let's not forget that there is a legal issue here. He is skating on thin ice just by doing what he does, and he is able to continue that because he has a good relationship with the Gotham police. If he started murdering people left and right, the police would have to do something about that and catch him. For an example, let's think about the Punisher. The Punisher kills people all the time. And you think, oh, hey, great, he gets away with it. But no, he constantly is arrested, and he has to start over again every time he breaks out of prison. Think about Batman, Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, if he is caught and thrown in prison, he loses everything. He loses Wayne Manor, the Wayne Industry, all that billions of dollars that he's able to use to fight crime. He would have to start over again. And whenever he would break out, he would just have to put together what he can. Kit bash weapons and use any kind of money he could get, possibly off the black market. It would make his job incredibly difficult. All in all, I really enjoyed Joker Devil's Advocate. I don't know why it's such an underrated book. I have to guess that maybe it's just gotten lost in a sea of splashy Batman books that's been published over the years. Let's face it, there have been a lot of good ones, so maybe it's not too hard to believe that this just got lost in the shuffle. I recommend, if you can find it, pick it up. It's really worth a read. All in all, I'm going to give it 4 Ram Chips out of 5. Push the button, Lindsay.
They don't play the song on the radio. They don't show that it's on the radio. They don't know that we are the media. They don't know that we start the media. I don't want to see what I'm making you. I see some big seat and I'm shaking you. Walking down the street, I'm the lady.
All in all, I really enjoyed